We live in a world obsessed with outcomes. Everyone wants to succeed, everyone wants to win, everyone wants to achieve something great. Yet very few are willing to pause long enough to ask the simplest, most important question of all. Why? Why do you want that goal? Why does it matter? Why should you care enough to see it through when it becomes hard, uncomfortable, or uncertain? Goals are powerful things. They give us direction, they create focus, they fuel our ambition. But a goal without understanding is like running with your eyes closed, fast, determined, but blind. And when you run blind, speed becomes dangerous, clarity comes first. Before you write your goal down, before you post it on your wall, before you declare it to the world, stop and ask yourself, what is this really for? Because the truth is, not every goal is worth chasing. Some goals look good on paper, some make you look successful to others, but only a few make you feel fulfilled inside. You see, fulfillment and achievement are not the same thing. Achievement is reaching the top of the mountain. Fulfillment is knowing why you climbed it, and that difference, that one word, changes everything. There are people who have achieved more than they ever imagined, yet still feel empty. They reached their goals, but not their purpose. They won the race, but lost themselves along the way, because the goal itself is never the reward, the reason behind it is. When you know your why, everything else begins to align. Your energy, your priorities, your plans, they all find their place. The clearer your why, the easier it becomes to say no to what doesn't matter. But once you have your goal, once you understand why it matters, the next question is, what's your plan? A goal lives in the future, it's a vision. A plan lives in the present, it's the bridge that gets you there. Too many people fall in love with the dream and forget the design. They get intoxicated by the idea of success, but never commit to the structure that makes success possible. A plan is the blueprint of your belief. It's the evidence that you take your dream seriously. It's how you turn an invisible idea into visible progress. But here's the truth about plans. They rarely go as planned. Life will test every part of it. The timeline you thought was perfect will fall apart. The steps you thought were linear will twist and turn, and the moments you expected to be easy will demand more than you thought you had. That's okay, because plans are not meant to be perfect. They're meant to be adaptable. The purpose of a plan isn't to guarantee success. It's to prepare you for change. The greatest leaders, the most successful entrepreneurs, the most fulfilled human beings, they don't cling to the plan, they cling to the purpose. The plan is flexible, the purpose is firm, so when things don't go the way you wanted, don't panic. Don't quit, don't throw the plan away, adjust it, learn from it, improve it. Remember, the detour is not failure, it's feedback. But even with clarity and planning, there is still one truth that separates the dreamers from the doers. The price. Every goal has a cost. Every plan has a price tag. Nothing worth having is free, not success, not leadership, not growth, not mastery. And yet, most people want the reward without the payment. We want the strength without the struggle. We want the wisdom without the mistakes. We want the destination without the journey. But the price of progress is always paid in full. You can't bargain with it, you can't skip it, you can't outsource it. The price comes in many forms: time, effort, sacrifice, patience, consistency, discipline. And the irony is that the moment you start paying, most people won't even notice. They'll only see the results later, and they'll call it luck. They won't see the nights you stayed up, the mornings you woke early, the times you failed and tried again. You see, success is never about what you get in public. It's about what you give in private. It's what you pay when no one is watching. The difference between those who achieve and those who only dream isn't talent, it's payment. The achievers understand that the price is part of the process. They don't run from discomfort, they lean into it. They don't avoid the work, they embrace it, because they know the pain of discipline weighs ounces, but the pain of regret weighs tons. So, the question isn't whether you'll pay the price, you will. The real question is whether you'll pay it now, in discipline, focus, and effort, or later, in regret, frustration, and disappointment. The best time to pay is always now, but the most interesting part about goals is that they change you while you chase them. The real transformation happens in the pursuit, not the arrival. The process builds the person. Every step you take toward a worthy goal strengthens something in you: resilience, patience, courage, humility. You learn to trust yourself a little more. You learn to lead yourself a little better. You begin to understand that success isn't an event, it's a pattern. And patterns are built one choice at a time. You see, there are two kinds of people in this world: those who chase results and those who build habits. The first group constantly starts over, jumping from one goal to another, chasing the feeling of accomplishment but never finding fulfillment. The second group, the builders, focus on becoming the kind of person who naturally creates the results they desire. Because when you become the person who's disciplined, focused, patient, and purpose-driven, success becomes a byproduct. You don't chase it, it finds you. There's something beautiful about the journey of a person who refuses to quit. They might fall 100 times, but every fall teaches them something about standing stronger. Every failure sharpens their vision. Every sacrifice deepens their sense of meaning. And that's the ultimate price we pay, not in money or effort, but in identity. We give up the version of ourselves that's comfortable so we can become the version that's capable. Growth demands letting go. You can't hold on to who you were and still reach who you're meant to be. You can't cling to your excuses and expect progress. You can't demand change while staying the same. So yes, there's a price, but it's worth it, because on the other side of that price is pride, not arrogance, but the quiet pride that comes from knowing you didn't quit when you could have, that you stayed when others walked away, that you paid the full price, and you earned every inch of your progress. And then something incredible happens. You realize that the goal you were chasing wasn't really the finish line. It was the starting line for something even greater. You start setting new goals, not because you need to prove yourself, but because you've fallen in love with growth itself. The irony of life is that the more you grow, the less you chase, because you understand that what you're building isn't just a career or a business or a dream. You're building character. You're building a story worth telling, and every story worth telling has struggle, sacrifice, and redemption in it. It has moments of doubt followed by moments of clarity. It has nights of fear followed by mornings of courage. That's what makes it powerful. So when you think about your goals, don't just ask, what do I want? Ask, who will I become? Don't just ask, what's my plan? Ask, what's my purpose behind it? And when the price feels heavy, remind yourself that this is the cost of becoming the person you're destined to be. Because in the end, the reward isn't the trophy or the title or the applause. The real reward is knowing you didn't take the easy path. You took the meaningful one. Goals give you direction, plans give you structure, but the price you pay gives you value. So, set your goals high, design your plans carefully, and when it's time to pay the price, pay it with pride. Because every step you take, every obstacle you face, every sacrifice you make is shaping you into something extraordinary. Not perfect, not finished, but growing, learning, becoming. That's the journey, that's the point, and that's the real success story. Every great journey begins with a picture in the mind, a picture of something better than today, a vision of who you could be, what you could create, what you could contribute to the world. That picture is what we call a goal. It gives direction to our energy, meaning to our work, and purpose to our struggles. But here's the paradox: while everyone wants to achieve their goals, very few take the time to truly understand them. A goal isn't something you write down just to feel productive. It's not a motivational quote you repeat every morning. A goal is a contract you sign with yourself, one that will demand something from you in return. Too many people treat goals like wishes, something they want, but not something they're willing to pay for. But the truth is, every dream comes with a bill attached. The question is, are you willing to pay it? Before you even think about the plan, before you sketch a single step or timeline, you have to ask yourself, why this goal? Why this mountain? Why this fight? Because the moment things get hard, and they will, your why will be the only thing keeping you going. The reason most people give up isn't that the goal is too big or the plan is too complex. It's that their reason wasn't deep enough. When the purpose is shallow, pain wins. But when the purpose is deep, no setback can break you. The first step toward any meaningful goal is clarity. Clarity gives your energy direction. Without it, you end up busy but not productive, moving fast but going nowhere. Most people confuse motion with progress. They think because they're doing something, they're achieving something. But if you're climbing the wrong mountain, reaching the top doesn't make you successful, it makes you lost. Once you're clear about what you truly want and why it matters, you move into the next phase, planning. A plan is the bridge between imagination and execution. It's the way you turn what you see in your mind into something you can touch in reality. But a plan is not a guarantee, it's a guide. No plan survives unchanged. Life will always intervene, sometimes with small inconveniences, sometimes with storms that shake your entire foundation. The best plans aren't the most detailed, they're the most adaptable. People often mistake planning for control. They believe that if they plan every hour, every step, every outcome, they can prevent failure. But control is an illusion. Planning isn't about controlling what happens, it's about preparing for what might happen. The best leaders, the best dreamers understand that flexibility is not weakness. It's wisdom. It's the ability to bend without breaking, to stay grounded when everything around you shifts. Because success rarely comes in a straight line. It comes through the twists, the turns, the unexpected detours that teach you something you didn't know you needed to learn. And yet, there's another truth few want to face. Every plan demands payment. Every dream, every goal, every vision, it all has a cost. That's the part people don't like to talk about, the price. The price of progress isn't measured in money, it's measured in what you're willing to give up. Your comfort, your ego, your excuses, your need for certainty. The world will not hand you your dreams, it will test how badly you want them. We often think success is about talent, but talent only sets the stage, it's discipline that decides the outcome. It's perseverance that shapes your story, it's sacrifice that makes the dream real. The greatest achievers aren't those who had the best start, they're the ones who refuse to stop. They understood that success is not about luck or timing, it's about endurance. It's about paying the price every single day, even when no one notices, even when no one claps, even when it feels like you're walking in the dark. And that's the part most people avoid. They want the results but not the repetition. They want the glory but not the grind. But the truth is, progress demands payment long before it delivers rewards. There's an old saying, everyone wants to be a champion until they see what champions do every day. They don't just show up when they feel good. They show up because they made a promise to themselves, to their purpose, to their vision. And the price, it's heavy. It's early mornings, late nights, missed parties, and countless failures. It's doubt, it's fear. It's hearing that little voice in your head whisper, maybe you're not good enough, and still choosing to move forward anyway. But if you stay the course, something incredible happens. The price that once felt heavy starts to feel lighter. Not because it's easier, but because you've grown stronger, you build resilience, you develop grit. You begin to understand that discomfort is not your enemy, it's your teacher. Growth never feels like growth when you're in it. It feels like pain, confusion, frustration. Only when you look back do you realize how far you've come. The moments you thought were breaking you were actually shaping you. And that's when you discover the deeper truth. The real reward of a goal isn't the achievement, it's the transformation. It's not what you get, it's who you become. Every meaningful goal changes you. It forces you to confront your limits, your fears, your habits. It asks you to trade who you are for who you could be, and that's not easy. Growth always comes with grief, the grief of letting go of your old self. You can't become who you're meant to be while clinging to who you've been. You can't move forward if you're still defending your past. Every new version of you will cost the old one. That's the real price of progress, and once you've paid that price, once you've endured, adapted, and transformed, something shifts inside you. You realize that goals are not destinations, they are evolutions. You start to see the journey differently. You stop chasing achievements for validation and start chasing growth for fulfillment, because fulfillment doesn't come from reaching the top. It comes from knowing why you climbed and how you grew along the way. You see, there's a difference between success and significance. Success is about you. Significance is about the impact you create beyond yourself. Goals that serve only you will eventually feel empty. But goals that serve others, those give your work lasting meaning. The most inspiring people aren't those who have everything figured out. They're the ones who keep showing up with heart. They're not perfect. They're persistent. They fall, they fail, they stumble, but they never lose sight of their purpose. They understand that the world doesn't remember those who never struggled. It remembers those who never stopped. And when you finally reach a milestone, when you finally achieve what once seemed impossible, you'll realize that the reward isn't in the applause. It's in the quiet satisfaction of knowing you paid the full price, you honored the journey, and you became someone stronger than you were before. Then a new question arises, what's next? Because once you understand the process, once you've lived it, you begin to crave it. You begin to seek new goals, not because you're dissatisfied, but because growth has become your nature. You realize the power isn't in achieving once, it's in continuing to evolve, to keep setting goals that challenge you, stretch you, and make you uncomfortable, because comfort is the enemy of progress, and so the cycle continues, clarity, planning, sacrifice. Growth, fulfillment, each phase feeding into the next, each step making you a little wiser, a little humbler, a little more aware that life is not about arriving, it's about becoming. In the end, goals give us direction, plans give us structure, but it's the price, the daily payment of effort, patience, and perseverance that gives our journey value. You can't buy your way to fulfillment, you can only earn it, and earning it means giving your best consistently, with integrity, even when no one is watching. So if you have a goal, hold on to it tightly. If you have a plan, protect it fiercely. And when the price shows up, as it always will, pay it with pride. Because that price is not a punishment, it's proof that what you're chasing matters, proof that you're growing, proof that you're alive. One day, when you look back, you'll realize that the price was never too high. It was exactly what it needed to be to make you who you are. So keep your vision clear, keep your plan alive, keep your courage strong, because the world doesn't need more dreamers, it needs more doers who are willing to pay the price to make those dreams real. And when you do, when you truly give everything you have to something meaningful, you'll discover something beautiful, that the journey was never about reaching the goal. It was about becoming the person capable of creating one. That's the real reward, that's the meaning behind the work. And that is what makes the price every sleepless night, every failure, every sacrifice worth paying in full. Every person you admire, every leader who inspires you, every individual who seems to live with clarity and confidence, they all began with one simple thing, a goal. Not a vague dream or a passing wish, but a clear, intentional direction that gave their lives purpose. Goals are not about what we want to have, they're about who we want to become, but too often we set goals based on what others expect from us. We choose paths that look impressive, not meaningful. We chase recognition instead of fulfillment. And the problem with that is, when the applause fades, and it always does, you're left wondering why you started at all. A goal should never begin with what or how. It begins with why. Why do I want this? Why does it matter to me? Why am I willing to struggle for it? Because if you don't know your why, every challenge will feel like a reason to quit. But if your why is clear, every obstacle becomes just another step forward. Clarity gives your goal power. Without clarity, even small setbacks feel unbearable. With it, even big challenges feel worthwhile. Most people think the hard part is the work, the late nights, the grind, the discipline, but the hardest part is deciding what truly matters to you. Once you know that, the work becomes purpose, not punishment. So, imagine your life as a compass. Your goal is the direction. Your plan is the map, and the price you pay, that's the fuel that moves you forward. If one of those is missing, you go nowhere. The goal tells you where to go, the plan tells you how to get there, and the price keeps you moving when the road gets rough. But it all begins with that decision to stop drifting and start directing. The world loves to celebrate success stories, but it often skips the part where those stories began in doubt, failure, and uncertainty. What you see as confidence in others often started as confusion. What you admire as strength often began as fear. The difference between those who succeed and those who don't isn't that one was fearless. It's that one acted despite fear. Once you know your goal, the next step is your plan, and this is where most people get lost, because planning sounds exciting until it's not. It feels productive until reality gets in the way. Plans are not made to be perfect, they're made to prepare you. They're not about predicting the future, they're about adapting to it. A plan gives your dream structure. It's how you turn inspiration into execution. But no matter how well you plan, life will always interrupt. Something will go wrong, something will change, and that's okay, because the purpose of a plan isn't to avoid problems, it's to help you face them intelligently. When you plan, you take control of your effort, not the outcome. You focus on what you can do, not what you can't predict. That's why flexibility matters more than perfection. The best leaders, the most successful people, they don't cling to plans, they cling to purpose. They understand that if the purpose remains the same, the path can always change. There's a saying that everyone has a plan until life punches them in the face. And it's true, but that's when you learn what kind of person you are. Do you crumble when the plan falls apart, or do you improvise, adapt, and move forward anyway? Because that's where the real test begins, not when everything goes right, but when everything goes wrong. That's when the price shows up. Every goal worth achieving has a cost, and the higher the goal, the higher the price. You will pay with your time, your energy, your comfort, your ego. You will pay in patience, in humility, in persistence. You will pay when you feel tired, when you feel lost, when you feel like quitting. That's the part people rarely talk about because it's not glamorous. But it's necessary. The price is what separates those who dream from those who do. Everyone wants to win, but not everyone wants to train. Everyone wants results, but not everyone wants repetition. Everyone wants the reward, but not everyone wants the responsibility that comes with it. The truth is, life will always collect the price before it gives the prize. You can't skip it, you can't borrow it. You can only earn it, and the price never shows up once. It keeps coming, every day, every week, every season, asking, do you still want this? And your actions, not your words, will answer that question. Sometimes the price will be external, long hours, delayed gratification, sacrifices you make that others don't understand. But often the biggest price is internal, the doubt you have to silence, the discipline you have to sustain, the patience you must hold when progress feels invisible. That's the price of greatness, doing the work even when it doesn't look like it's working. Staying faithful to the process even when the results don't show up yet. Because success doesn't come to those who never struggle, it comes to those who never stop. The price doesn't just shape your success, it shapes you. Every struggle teaches you something. Every sacrifice reveals something about who you are and what you're capable of. The price isn't punishment, it's preparation. It's molding you into the kind of person who can handle the very thing you're asking for. That's why shortcuts are dangerous. When you skip the struggle, you skip the strength that comes from it. You might get what you want faster, but you'll lack the character to keep it. So when you feel frustrated, when you wonder why it's taking so long, remind yourself you're not just chasing a goal, you're becoming the person who can sustain it. There's something powerful about people who refuse to give up. They might fall behind, they might fail more than others. But every time they get up, they grow stronger. Every failure gives them a new skill, a new perspective, a new layer of resilience. And one day, those small daily efforts, those invisible payments, compound into something extraordinary. Suddenly, people start calling them lucky, without realizing how long they've been paying the price in silence. But the truly remarkable thing happens when you realize that the price isn't just about achieving a goal, it's about transforming your life. You start to see the value in effort itself. You stop wishing for easy because you know easy never built anything worth having. You begin to find meaning in the process, in the grind, the growth, the small wins. And once that happens, everything changes. You stop chasing outcomes and start building identity. You stop waiting for success and start living like someone who deserves it. And then something deeper begins to grow. You realize that goals are not the destination, they're the direction. They give you something to aim for, but the true joy comes from the journey. Because when you reach the goal, what you really gain isn't the outcome, it's the evolution of who you became to get there. That's why fulfillment always outlasts achievement. Achievement ends when the goal is reached. Fulfillment continues because the purpose remains alive. If you've ever met someone truly fulfilled, you'll notice they rarely talk about what they got. They talk about what they gave, what they learned, who they became. They understand that the reward isn't the applause, the title, or the recognition. The reward is the growth, the integrity, the impact. Every time you set a meaningful goal, you're making a promise not to the world but to yourself. You're saying, I believe I can be better. You're saying, I'm willing to change. And that promise carries a price, but it's a price worth paying. Because on the other side of that price is pride, not arrogance, but the quiet pride that comes from knowing you didn't quit when it was hard, you didn't settle when it was easy, and you didn't compromise your purpose for comfort. And when you reach that point, something beautiful happens. You stop measuring success by how far you've come, and you start measuring it by how much you've grown. So set your goals high, make your plans strong, and when the price comes knocking, open the door with courage. Because everything you want, every dream, every breakthrough, every moment of meaning, stands just beyond the price you're willing to pay. The journey won't be easy, but it will be worth it. The road won't always be straight, but it will always teach you something. And if you stay the course, if you hold on to your purpose, if you keep paying the price day after day, quietly, consistently, one day you'll look back and realize the goal you were chasing didn't just change your life, it changed you, and that's the real reason we set goals in the first place, not to reach something, but to become someone. Because in the end, success isn't about what you get, it's about who you become while earning it. That's the essence of it all. Goals give your life direction, plans give your dream structure, and the price you pay, that's what gives it meaning. So don't run from the price, pay it with gratitude. Because every sacrifice, every challenge, every hard-earned step forward is proof that you're alive, that you're growing, that you're becoming the person you were always meant to be. And that, not the goal itself, is the greatest victory of all. Every person who has ever achieved something meaningful started with a goal. It's simple, really. A goal gives us direction. It gives our energy purpose and our effort focus. But here's what most people misunderstand. A goal is not just about reaching a destination. It's about defining what kind of journey you're willing to take. You see, anyone can set a goal. Anyone can write down a dream, create a vision board, or post an inspiring quote. But setting a goal doesn't make you different. Living for it does. Most people fall in love with the idea of what they want, but not with the process it takes to get there. The truth is, the moment you set a real goal, one that truly matters, life starts testing you. It starts asking, how badly do you want this? And it won't ask once. It will ask again and again.